Unmute. Okay, there we go. Sound check. It's coming out of somewhere now. Where is that? You hear that echo? What is it? I think it's these. Can you turn these down? Number 4. Yeah. Hello? Nope. What is that? Maybe your phone? Somebody on the
How about now?
Hello? Nope, you got it.
There it is.
Okay.
You got it. Hey, thanks guys. I'm a moron. We jumped out live here with no audio. We apologize. Let's do that again. Ready? Let's do it again. And we're going to start over. We'll do the whole intro over. What up? What up? Welcome to the Inside BJJ podcast. Take 2.
Take 2.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, everybody. Sounds good. Everyone can hear it. We're back. We're back, bitches.
Thank God for Hector.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Hector.
Thank you, buddy.
That was a nice pickup right there. Here we go, man. Back from competition class. We got like a little PGF dual meet coming up on Sunday with 10th Planet Nashville taking on One Nation. It might be a hybrid team for us because we don't have any 145ers, and there's a couple slots, heavyweights. There's people who could compete as heavyweights, people that they talk a lot about, like, purple belt, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just a white belt forever. And there's opportunities that come up to participate. It's like, oh, dog, I got football that day. I got a big foosball tournament at Vandy. Can't make it.
Oh, I thought we were talking about me for a minute. That's
Big,
definitely
Oh,
not
no,
what I got
never.
going on.
I would never talk
I
about
know
you.
you would never do that.
Never do that. So we got that coming up. We did a little practice on Thursday night. Nothing too crazy, but we had a good time. I jumped in there. I felt like I needed to move.
Did you?
Yeah.
Speaking of wanting a purple belt, I showed up late so I could practice doing that.
This guy showed up late. Then he got in. He was here. Let me tell you about Andrew, since we're having family day. I'm just going to, and I'm saying this in love.
Sure you are.
He was back here yesterday.
Yeah.
People were in the hallway waiting to get in. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I think Andrew's there. And I'm like, I think Andrew's in the back room. And they're like, no, man. We saw a silhouette of somebody walk by and they just shook their head at us and walked off. And I'm like, what?
That does sound like me.
And then we're doing class, and then Andrew comes out, like Chris Elliott on David Letterman coming up from under the stage. Andrew comes out, and I'm like, I told you guys he was
To
here.
no applause, by the way. By the way, you don't call, you don't write. I don't know what time it is. I'm recording for my channel.
I'm back here. I'm podcasting.
I've got better things to do.
I was making YouTube videos and realizing that only after I made them that the sound was corrupted and I wasted my time.
That's Elio Gracie punishing you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Andrew, you've chosen what is this podcasting? Yeah. No, it was good. It's good to see you. It was good to get a little round in with you too. You came in
was.
cold.
I did come in cold.
He did you guys, I'm going to go put my uniform on and jump in.
Just jump in.
Yeah.
Just raw dogged it.
Well, I figured.
God, after everybody was already sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
and I was the first round
Yeah.
that he went with, and I was John the Baptist.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're gonna get it, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind at all. I realized I had made it in time from work, so I've missed the last couple of Thursdays. I've been coming in at like 7:50, so I really wanted to get some. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
That was a fun night. My back's a little sore now, though.
Sorry about
It's
that.
like the common complaint every time you roll is that your back
I
is
know
sore.
it's sore a lot, but it's been better lately.
Oh, yeah.
I did 2 things. I got a new bed. I got.
By the way, I have your old bed. My back hurts now.
Yeah, sorry, dude. You feel it like down here in the morning?
lumbar?
Like, yeah. I got a new bed, and it's a couple things. One is I've never had a king size bed before.
No.
So this
Never
time,
ever?
Never ever. I've
Oh, wow.
slept on one,
Sure.
but I never owned one.
Superfluous. I
We
think.
had a queen bed, and that Andrew has now.
I'm a queen and a queen.
You are, and if your cat's in bed with you, then
2 pussies in one bed.
there you go. Took the words right out of my
I
mouth.
bet you I did.
Nice work. Nice work. You get an applause.
Finally.
That was good. That was
That's why
good.
he's the assistant to the junior producer.
You're
Yep.
doing well. You
Did
just ticked up 1 tick on the imaginary there's like 100 ticks. You're like at 13.
I was being a real Nazi production-wise before this, by the way, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not just because you come from German descent.
I'm sure that helps.
I forgot what I was saying.
You're king bed.
Oh yeah, king bed. So I got this bed, and we got the bed that moves around. You know,
Oh.
You were stoked to show me that, by the way.
I was. Which here's the thing: I helped a friend about 2 years ago or so move
Mm.
from a house in Franklin area down more south into what's that county? It starts with an M. It's not Murdoch. It's
Murphy? Or Maury? Or
Maury.
Yeah.
Maury County. Yeah. So I helped him move down there. Real old house built in the 1800s, and he had one of these crazy fucking moving beds.
Yeah.
It was so heavy and so hard to move the frame up the stairs, and it was one of those stairways that's old and narrow, and then it has a cutback. It doesn't go
Oh,
straight
fuck.
up; it goes bop bop.
Yeah.
And that mattress, the frame is tri-folding,
Oh.
so it can move at the top and the bottom. And there, oh shit, I just kicked my camera. Sorry. There was one point which I do like 17 times a show now. There was one point when we were moving that I was at the bottom and I was pushing as hard as I could push. I was pushing as hard as I could push so it didn't come back down.
Fuck.
It was so I told myself I'm never going to get up. And then I got one.
Well, I mean, to be granted, you and the missus have a ground floor master, so
Yeah.
that's good.
And it's
At least
not
there's
as
no
heavy.
stairs. Yeah.
This is like a new world order one. Like it's
Yeah.
not heavy. We make it out of light stuff.
Like
and
the Aluminum.
Make it out of babies.
it's going to last for 13
adrenochrome.
months. Yeah. And then we got the mattress. Now, when they ship you this frame, it's not one frame for a king. It's 2 XL twin frames that equal a king. And the idea is you can get a split king and each person can have their own
Oh.
setting.
Hmm.
I didn't think about that. I just got one king. My wife is going to sleep in the configuration I choose. I'm old fashioned. She's a trad wife.
Hope she doesn't listen.
Is that what they're called? Trad wives?
Traditionally, yeah.
Yeah. She sleeps in the config I tell her to
Okay.
when I allow her to sleep in the bed.
Right.
If she's done
Right.
all her chores
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
If-
dinner didn't suck.
If the kitchen looks correct.
Yeah.
Now, it's a cool bed, and I think it's going to help my back. My back has been feeling better, but I don't know. The first night, we both almost slid out of it because I had it configured up kind of at an angle, and it felt normal, but at 3 a.m, my legs were hanging off the side of the bed.
So how do you have it configured now?
Now, what we're doing is a little bit of the incline in the back, just a little bit,
Yeah.
not too upright.
Yeah.
And then the feet, you tilt that up just a little bit so you don't slide out.
Oh, I see.
What you're looking for is the zero gravity position.
Oh.
Christian Bale, the one that Christian Bale had to sleep in to fix his back when he was down in the cave, that well cave thing they threw him in.
that
Do you
Bane
guys-
put him in?
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how he hurt his back? He had a back problem, and then he figured out it was all in his head.
Oh.
He started sleeping in the zero gravity position, crawled right up out of that bitch.
So you're taking advice, like health advice from a fictional Batman movie.
Well, you know what? It's about just as good as health advice from a trained doctor at this point. I would let GPT diagnose me before I would let Dr. Feelgood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just going to pump you full of opiates anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. Do you have his number? So
I'll give it
my
to you after the show.
my back feels better. I also got one of those Theraguns. It's like ba 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 ba. You just like
Oh, yeah.
not bad. I bought, the game with that is there's the Theragun brand one that's good, right? It's a decent one. And then there's the Sharper Image one that's $40 at TJ Maxx.
Hey.
The
And
Vera good.
And it yeah.
The Vera okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's a POS. Don't
Oh, really?
Don't waste your money on the cheap
Oh,
one.
I thought it'd be like
No.
I thought you were going to be like, oh, it's just as good. And you say,
No. They're like
Oh.
they're battery operated. They're junk.
Yeah.
They're junk.
Really?
It's the Timu version.
They're not good. But if you
Huh.
get like the Theragun model used to be $500 when it came out,
Shit.
and now it's like 120. But they have all these upgraded models that are $500.
It comes with like a bunch of attachments, right?
it comes with 3.
Oh.
How many do you need? Like,
Oh.
does anyone use all those attachments?
I don't even use one.
Right? I don't think so. Some people took and made their own Theraguns out of impact drills
Oh shit.
that go da 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 da. Right? They just outfit them with like a lacrosse ball,
Oh.
but they're really noisy. That's
At the end of
catch.
essentially a sawzall attachment for an impact.
Yeah,
So it goes
yeah,
back and forth versus
Exactly.
around.
hmm same. It's the same thing. That's what a Theragun is. They finally figured out how to make them quieter and smaller and less. Ba 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 ba. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing therapeutic about that.
Just
The only thing that's massaging me is my DeWalt.
My DeWalt. Get the DeWalt out,
Milwaukee.
honey. Yeah. So it's feeling a little bit better. I do complain a little bit too much. My
I've seen
problem is
those-
go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, I've seen those Theraguns used in interesting ways on internet movies.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Pray tell.
Not for the show.
Not for the show. It's for Mindworm.
That's
Send
for
you
the-
some links.
This is for Mindworm After Dark.
Mindworm
that's
talking about
that's
the
for the
hub.
Patreon.
That's for the Patreon.
Yeah, every 5 minutes on my Mindworm Patreon, I talk about interesting hub videos I've seen.
Yeah, you just recap all the dark stuff you've seen on the internet.
Yeah, this is funny. I don't know if I should get into this.
Looks like you're about to anyway.
There are some certain terms that I've searched in certain websites where I was like, "Hey, man, you're bordering on illegal."
Yeah, you got to be careful. You never want to stumble on some weird shit on the internet. There's nothing that will freak you out more than that.
Yeah, you'll find me on there.
For real, if you land on some site and it seems like some weird shit, you're like, oh no, I'm expecting a knock at the door. What's wrong, dude?
I was
think-
checking a comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you expect some knock at the door, and it's me.
It's me. I'm here to fix your internet service. You mentioned the Nazis earlier. I've been watching this documentary on Netflix.
You've been obsessed. You talked about it the last couple of days.
It's been really good.
What's it called?
I think it's called Hitler and the Nazis.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they ran out of money
Real
for the
original.
naming campaign. It's whatever the new documentary. It's a docuseries.
Okay.
What's cool about it is they have quite a lot of footage, actual film footage. They have more audio, but they have a lot of footage
Mhm.
of the different. The Nazis were documenting everything they were doing.
Yeah.
And so some of it was recovered, right? So some of it's that film, some of it's from the Nuremberg trials, right? And then there's a lot of audio that they have a reenactment for. And then they play the audio, but the video is a reenactment. And you can kind of tell, right? They do it on purpose. They don't want you to think it's.
Sure.
The actor that plays Hitler, he's a good actor, but he's like Charlie Chaplin or something.
I just don't believe him.
He's just real, like, Hitler's always in a rage. Every
Yeah.
time they show him,
Yeah.
he's just going crazy.
Yeah.
It's amphetamines.
The actor Hitler. The Hitler seems a little more calm than the act. The way the
Oh,
every time
so
you
he
s-
played him up. He like
he overly played it up.
oh.
Every scene he's going
It's
apeshit.
like the character that Hitler was on stage, he's bringing with him
Yes,
to like
To-
order dinner.
everything.
Okay.
He's constantly.
I am
flipping
sick
out.
and tired of the chicken being overcooked.
And he's got a little emo thing going, where his hair is always coming.
He
down.
started that.
He's like, I started this.
He
emo
had
shit.
the asymmetrical haircut, and probably texted "rar" the first time.
The Nuremberg trials were really interesting to see that footage because you see some of the main dudes were there.
Some of them are stone cold. They don't give a fuck.
They do not care,
Some of them are indignant.
and they answered questions like, "Were you trying to do this?" Yes, it was indeed our goal to
No,
do
if he
that.
didn't try, if he succeeded in doing
Yeah,
this.
they were very, very much like, this is what needed to be done, and we done it.
Yeah, what we were talking about yesterday, where it's like, oh yeah, we absolutely quelled opposition. Opposition is
Right.
opposite what we want. Why
They-
would we allow it?
Yeah, so they asked the question. They said, was it a, more or less, I'll paraphrase, but was it a purposeful policy to like run out any political opposition, whether
Yeah.
it's a real political party or media or whatever?
Yeah.
And they said, absolutely. Like, time for opposition is done. We had enough opposition from all these parties that ruined the country.
Right.
So we decided that we were going to do it this way, and there was going to be no dissent.
Yeah. I mean, they were tired of the communists, so they were just they
Yeah.
were
And you know,
they were going to do whatever.
I don't like the communists.
I mean, nobody does, but you
know,
don't stifle free speech because of
Yeah,
the communists.
That's the problem.
It's the
yeah.
problem.
And I'm not an expert on it, but the German people weren't like, no, we don't want this.
Right.
They were pretty much like,
They were kind of
well, they came from. We act like the Weimar Republic was this super advanced, super
Yeah.
culturally
Yeah.
rich. It it was not great, man. It was super unstable. The money was all over the
The
place.
inflation was nuts.
And they would have periods of time where it would stabilize, and then it would go bananas again.
Yeah,
That's hard to live in, man. You do that for 20 years.
right.
People are going to feel some kind of way about it. I'm not justifying what they did.
No,
I'm
no,
just saying
sure.
that that's probably why the momentum.
I mean, people were burning money to stay warm, right?
Yeah.
Because it was better to just burn the money than to go buy wood.
literal wheelbarrows, full of money just
Crazy.
to go buy a loaf of bread. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild to watch. And you're like, this stuff happened.
You know, the documentary that got me about World War II was like the first time I saw it was the World War II in color when they colorized all of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Holy crap!
Was that Ken Burns?
No,
That wasn't the Ken
no,
Burns.
fuck no,
I'm just asking.
no,
Sorry.
no,
Why
no,
are you
no.
hollering?
Jesus.
No, because the Ken Burn ones are pretty tame. No, this one was rough, dude. It was showing like,
Oh, I see.
yeah, like some
Liberations and stuff.
very graphic stuff.
Yeah.
But it was all in color, so it's like, holy shit.
Comes to life.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool that they can colorize old film now. And they actually use some kind of AI process where if the film, like, you'll watch a film now that's footage taken from Amsterdam in 1891.
right.
And they're able to use AI to kind of smooth it out.
But that's now, right?
that's now.
Mm.
But
How did they have to do it back? Like I don't know, 20 years ago. Like they'd have to go frame by frame and just color everything.
if they could, yeah. It's probably expensive,
Yeah,
not easy, super laborious.
right.
Now it's quick. Well, I don't know if it's quick, but they can colorize it and they could make the actual footage look better and
Right.
cleaner and more like it was shot with a better camera.
Right.
That technology there was no USB-C ports back then. They weren't like, hey man, airdrop that to me.
Yeah.
The airdrop was something else.
They would literally think we were the biggest pussies in the world if they were here now. They'd be like, you guys have all this cool shit and you were fucking crybabies. All you do is complain about everything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but the trade-off there is that they probably would not know how to use their phone to check the weather.
I mean, you could teach
You just
them.
you-
Hey,
what
how
do you-
long would it take to teach somebody from that era to use?
I have tried to teach my own grandmother.
Okay, I know, but it's like
But you've tried to teach her as she's like an older lady.
that's not
Yeah.
a knock on their character.
No,
That's,
for sure.
That's a knock on this this gap of time, like the dude that got out of prison and missed all the music and
You're telling me about that.
got my son Nate. Some of this dude got out of prison and like had been in for a minute, and someone was playing some dubstep and he flipped out. And he didn't realize that dubstep was like come and gone, and
Yeah.
they're onto something new.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This shit is hard. Like, what is
Yeah.
this?"
Yeah.
That was like my freshman year of high school.
So they don't know what they don't know. I just think maybe their constitution was a little more grounded.
yeah.
You
for
know,
sure.
they just hard people. We've been shielded so much.
I mean, just look at your grandparents, like the shit they had to go through. It's always nuts, man. Like, and that
Yeah.
was 2 generations ago. That was not
Yeah.
that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
And they were 100 times more hardened than
And if
any
you
of
go
us.
if you go back past that, now you're dealing with people who lived in a time period when there wasn't electricity.
right.
There wasn't consumer electricity, which is insane.
Yeah.
And then that came, lights up cities. People are afraid of the devices that you plug in because they're terrible and they catch
Right.
on fire.
Right.
and- imagine thinking
mean-
that electricity's from the devil.
I mean, the Edison video
I think it
of
is.
where he electrocutes that elephant. Have you seen that?
No.
You know, that was to stick it to Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Tesla was running like
DC.
DC.
Mhm.
And so at the time there was AC, and AC was claimed to be safer than DC, and DC is like super dangerous. So Tesla hooked up a current of DC to an elephant.
Edison.
Yeah.
He killed it.
And he fried it, dude. And they filmed that shit. You filmed it. You see this big elephant get fried.
They electrocuted it
Yeah.
just to prove
Just to prove how
How
dangerous
dangerous.
DC was.
Propaganda.
it probably was dangerous, but who knows?
My understanding is
I
not,
mean, it still is dangerous.
not in the way that Tesla had it configured, but it was a
Right.
threat to Edison's AC business.
Yeah. Well, economics drives the world.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody's working for free. It's just
No.
nobody's doing it. Not going to happen. And if something's profitable, it'll be done. And if it's not profitable, it won't be done until they figure out how to make a profit on
Well,
it.
even like all these, I just found out the other day. I mean, this might have been common knowledge, but I didn't know. Like, why do you have 2 days off of work? Like, that's not because people thought it was a nice thing to do. It was because, like, they need the workers to go out and spend money. You
Yeah.
can't just be working and producing
Yeah.
stuff all the time, because
Right.
then there's nobody to buy it.
You need days for consumption.
Yeah,
A shopping day. That'd be cool if we had shopping days.
you do. It's called
Black
the weekend.
Friday.
That's true. Black Friday. We have them.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
Labor Day sale.
Yeah.
4th of July sale.
Yeah.
Rocktoberthon.
Yeah.
We're in that right now.
Yeah. New Year's Day.
Right.
Is that a big sales day?
I don't know. Probably.
Probably.
Macy's has a New Year's sale, don't they?
I
Oh,
have
that makes
no
sense.
idea.
Getting all the
There's all kinds of deals that happen around New Year's.
yeah.
Amazon Prime deals are going right now. Like all the crazy slashes they do.
Tim trying to get that Amazon sponsorship right now.
Hit me up. Dude, Amazon Prime is like over $100 a year now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
Easy.
so ridiculous. I'm getting murdered on the subscriptions.
How fast do you want your shit?
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I like
I like it. Too.
I'm such an asshole too. If it can't be delivered that day or the next day, I'm like, I don't want it.
I don't want it. It's not worth
I
it.
don't need it that bad.
I don't want it.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I'll just go to Best Buy and pick it up.
Yeah.
I want it now.
For
Yeah.
$50 more.
Yeah. Not always, but sometimes.
A lot of times.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Enough talking about dumb stuff. The Fight Pass Invitational's going on now. I'm gonna check who's winning.
Some good matches today.
Yeah, I read that. I know Ronaldo Jr. won. He got a RNC in overtime.
Mr. Varela got a guillotine too, didn't he?
He got guillotined.
Got guillotined.
Yeah, he
Sorry
got
about that.
guillotined by Dante Leon,
Congratulations.
Armin Guillotine, and Hanato Canuto submitted PJ Barch with a heel hook.
Oh, did he?
Wow,
Wow.
that's impressive.
Good for him.
Canuto's real good, dude. He just spent a lot of time in the gi. He was mostly competing in the gi, and I would say the last year and a half or so, maybe a little before that, I'm not positive. I know he was doing a lot of training for MMA, but it seems like he's kind of maybe not totally changed focus, but he has put more focus into no-gi grappling. He's super good. Real exciting to watch, man. And Nicky Rod beat Pixley by submission in overtime. I think that doesn't surprise me. Canuto getting the heel hook on PJ surprises me.
That is surprising.
Yeah. Ronaldo Jr. beating Izeki, I can't pronounce his last name, Bahiense. Not a surprise. Ronaldo Jr. is a stud.
Yeah.
He beat Cody Steele last time out.
Yeah.
He's real good. Canuto's wife, Raquel Canuto, got a RNC sub on Gabrielle McComb. Gabriel Souza defeated Josh Cisneros by points. Interesting stuff. Good card. The Fight Pass Invitational's turning out to be a pretty good product.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's
fun to
entertaining.
watch. It's well packaged. It doesn't take a long time to watch.
Nope.
They have just enough graphics and backstory. They have a big giant machine.
They get big
behind it.
enough names too, you know.
Yeah, they have the advantage of pulling from the UFC roster and getting those guys, and also pulling from the grappling world. Everybody wants to be on a UFC product. If you're a grappler and you can get on Fight Pass on a UFC event,
Yeah.
you want to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Why would you not? Yeah.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's massive exposure.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot more than even big YouTube channels. and
I
stuff
like
that.
one.
I mean, any. I mean, if you're not on any of them and you get access to some of them or one of
Yeah.
them, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You're going to take what you can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So good night of fights there. Man, I think coming up right behind this, the next big event has got to be PGF, right?
PGF.
I believe so.
I think it's the PGF. Season 7
Mm-hmm.
coming up.
Vegas again.
I have the full roster.
You do?
I do, but I can't share it. I mean, I could let you guys look at it
Dang.
Yeah.
if you want to see it.
I wanna
Just
s- I wanna
teasing
see
out
it.
here.
You guys
I
want
wanna
to
see
take
it.
you guys want to take a peek-see?
I want to know secrets.
Yeah, I'll
I can be trusted.
I'm
with
only
the-
on this podcast for the secrets.
Yeah,
can be trusted with the
Sorry,
nuclear
guys,
codes.
I can't betray Brandon McCatherine like that. That was a test, and you failed.
We've played music together. He'd be fine with it.
Oh, okay. You're that kind of dirtbag.
He's my friend. I
We
think.
played music together.
He's
man.
not your friend.
Brandon's my friend.
He's
I like,
Listen.
well, I like Brandon.
Yeah.
He's probably indifferent to me, but I
Okay.
like Brandon.
Let's just say that he's your friend, but he
Brandon-
doesn't know it.
He doesn't even know your name, dude.
Probably not.
He knows you as Earhole Guy.
To be fair, that's how a lot of people know me. I have heard in passing, especially at the bar where I'm getting to know people downtown and they work at different bars and shit that'll come to Doc's and drink. They'll be like, "If you met the door guy Andrew, is he the guy with the holes in his ears?" Yeah, that's
The guy with holes in his ears.
ear holes.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody has holes in their ears.
Yeah.
We all have them.
The audience doesn't know because I tuck them into my headphones because when I have them in, they look stupid.
No,
with
the
headphones on.
the crazy thing you do is when you flip the ear hole
Yeah,
around the
into it.
top
That's
of
when
your
you know I mean business.
dude. I looked at you one day and I'm like, does he have meat earrings on? Like, what is going on? Like, he's gonna do it right now.
Ugh.
Yeah, for those of you watching,
Let's see it.
this is
Oh God, it's so,
It's so funny because his ear actually looks kind of normal when he does that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does. That's how you have to go to work.
I do flip them up
Let me see.
if there's going to be a problem at the bar and I think there's going to be a fight or something like that.
I mean, they
It almost
just
looks like bad cauliflower up front. But
it just looks like a piece of dough that you rolled out and it's long and skinny.
better
You know what
than-
I mean?
better
And if
than-
you pull it
I
too
know
hard,
exactly
it's gonna like
what you mean.
break apart
Yeah,
into two
yeah, yeah.
pieces.
it's better than the onion ring look.
It
Ear dough.
reminds me of in culinary school when we were learning how to braid bread, and so you'd have to make like 3 like long
Yeah.
skinny strands of dough.
Is
Exactly.
that what you're doing to my ears at night?
Yeah, I just break
Yeah.
them up. That's why you wake up with a French braid
A
every
French
morning.
plate, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
God
plate.
damn it.
Oh man, I'm gonna lose power here in
Secret's
a
out.
second. Not good.
Ruh-roh.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do something here.
I have another thing to add to the. Is plugged in correctly.
We're good. I think we're on the Wi-Fi and not the actual cable. That's okay. I didn't make that move when I needed to. So whatever. We're all
Yes.
good.
All
Okay.
right.
Oh no, you guys died.
We're back.
There you are. You're back. So last time we were together, we were. I brought up this topic about jujitsu culture, like secret jujitsu culture,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I think it's more of what I'm getting at is things that surprised you as you learned them. There's not a handbook.
No.
I mean, there's a student handbook. That's the fake handbook.
Mhm.
That's basically the book that we give students so we can kick them out later and we could point at that book and go
Yeah.
see it says in the book.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go.
Yeah.
Can't be here anymore. You got the book, right? Okay. Well, it's in
Yeah.
the book. It's policy. That's not the real book. There's a secret book
Yeah.
that has all the unwritten things
Yeah.
in jujitsu. And those are the things that are the hard lessons that you learn, either because somebody jumps your shit or they kind of fuck you up
Yeah.
and then you learn. I think there's more of those in the gi world than in the no gi world. The stricter the school, the more unwritten policy things there are.
More pit traps that you can fall
Oh,
into.
God. Chuck Walker, the guy that I trained with a lot, and I
Yeah.
got that picture up there. Massive respect for Chuck. He's
A
awesome.
legend.
Legendary, man. However, real son of a bitch with some of these rules. He loved jumping people's shit when they would step on the mat with their shoes.
Oh.
It was a particular pleasure of him, right? Of his. He would bait people that were brand new. He would bait them onto the mats and then fucking go ape shit when they stepped onto the mat. They'd walk in, he'd go like, "Hey, what's going on?" He'd put his hand out, but
Yeah.
he's midway through the mat. What's
Yeah.
going on? They think, "Oh, this worshipful karate master wants to
Right.
shake my hand. I better go bow and greet him." They'd step on the mat with their Skechers. No shoes on the mat. He'd just get right up in there. Like,
Holy shit.
like a drill sergeant, dude. Scare the shit out of him.
I bet they never I bet they never did it again.
Yeah, I
No,
bet.
they never did.
Yeah.
That might have been Chuck playing some games.
Chuck's other favorite game was this, and this one sucked. He would do it in demonstration, and he usually only had to do it on you once. Then he'd have to find another victim.
Mm.
And he did it to me. He'll mount you, and he's talking to the students about, sometimes when you mount people, they give up their back, or you want them to give up their back. It allows you to get the choke. And this is old school nuts and bolts. Get them to turn their back, fucking hip into them.
Yeah.
Just flatten them out, keep them on their belly, choke them, put their arm behind their back. Just all cop jujitsu mean stuff. And so he mounts me, and I'm just laying there listening to him, trying to like follow his lead. He's talking. And he goes, and when you want them to turn their back, and he rears up and he goes, bam! And just slaps me right in the fucking head. Like, crack. And the first thing I do is like, oh, and I turn, and he takes my back. And then he apologizes, and he goes, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you what I was going to do because it wouldn't have been real then.
I needed the genuine reaction.
Yes. He had several techniques that were like that.
Oh, man.
And you would see him lead somebody into it. You're like, oh, this guy's going to get it.
He's
right
going to get
now.
whacked.
He had another throw that he would do that was like a self-defense thing, and you didn't know, you weren't sure what he was setting up, and it was like, yeah, and you're like, fuck. It was great to watch. It was kayfabe. Once you knew what was going on, you had to keep quiet.
Yeah.
You just wait and
Yeah.
watch. Yeah. I got him back real good at a Hoist Gracie seminar one time. Hoist legit taught this as a self-defense technique. Somebody comes up behind you, and they do the hands on your shoulders or the hands on your neck.
Uh-huh.
And people go, that's not realistic. You can't choke someone like that. These techniques are not meant for people that have a bunch of grappling fighting experience and they're attacking you. That's not what these techniques are. Covering the bases of moron in the street,
Yeah.
right? That's the idea. And the move is they grab you and you heel kick back and you try to strike them in the groin.
Mm-hmm.
This was the move. And Hoist goes, hey, don't kick your partner in the groin for real. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to kick you in the groin for real. But Hoist is watching. I want to show up for my peeps.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show out for the 209, right?
What if I get a black belt from Hoist?
It
Because I
may-
did this technique so well.
He might, hey, man, he's giving out blue belts for less. So I'm like, I'm standing there. And he's behind me, and Chuck puts his hands behind me, and I just, and I heel kick him right in the groin.
Holy
Just
shit.
drop him.
It had to be real.
Had to be real. I
Sorry,
couldn't. Sorry, Chuck.
Couldn't fake it.
Can fake it. So, secret jujitsu culture. I would say shoes on the mat are not a secret. Some of the things I see people get whooped up on for is calling out the instructors to roll. I've seen that happen. Doesn't matter to me much,
Yeah.
to be honest. A little bit of a pet peeve when somebody goes, me and you are going to roll. Like they're real hungry for it. And then we roll and I tap them out and then they hit the mat and they go, damn. Like they're like, ugh, they're mad that I got them.
Yeah.
Because then I feel a little bit disrespected.
Yeah.
Like,
What did you think was
you
going to
thought
happen?
this was going to be different? Like, oh, you didn't want to roll. You wanted to test yourself against me and challenge me.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, that's
No, I'm not a fan of that. Because those are the guys, if you play with them and you just play light and you're nice and they catch something, then they go tell everybody they tapped a black belt out. I tapped that
Right.
guy out.
Right.
I'm fucking good. And so you can't give them any line.
You give them the business.
Yeah. So that's probably one. I would say the secret rule is most guys that are good give you their business card on the first round. They put it on you. That's what I was
like
told.
that.
I was told the first time you roll with somebody, if you don't know who they are, you give them your fucking business card. You show them what's up.
Oh,
and then,
really?
And then you take it down a notch.
You set the fucking pace.
You let them know,
Yeah.
like, this is what I got. If you can handle that, then good. But if you can't, don't fucking get too crazy. I don't do that.
I was going to say, I actually did the opposite of that.
I usually do too. If I feel like somebody's overly like,
Yeah.
I'll just give them the move.
If I've never rolled with you before,
Yeah.
I want to try my best to figure you out
Yeah.
right first.
I want to see if my bullshit works on you.
Yeah. I'm going to try dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And then when we go again, then it's different.
Perhaps. Yeah. It just depends on the person.
Yeah.
But I've given people taps that were being overly aggressive, almost dangerous.
Yeah.
I'll give them
Thank
the
you for
tap
those.
real easy.
Thank you for
Almost,
those, by the way.
almost like oh, good job, man, you got it. And if they go, I give it to them again. Just every time, you got it, and then they realize like, oh, he's not fighting me back. Then they chill out. Because some people are fucking nuts, dude. They don't care if they hurt you.
Yeah.
They don't care. They literally don't care.
Yeah, because like if you're a white or blue belt, maybe even purple, you tap a black belt once, sure, maybe. but then with the same thing 3 times in a row because
Yeah.
you are being
You
a little
kind of let them
rambunctious.
know, like, I'm giving this to you,
Yeah.
dummy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird because some people, they think, oh, you're a black belt. I can do anything to you.
Right.
Anything.
You're invincible.
you
Yeah.
I can just fucking do anything.
Right.
You should be able to defend every single thing. Nothing can touch you. You're not
Right.
human.
Right.
I didn't get that. Yeah. Like,
It's not on your
I
business
go home
card.
and I'm like, fuck. I put his knee in my rib. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What were you surprised to learn?
Before I had started jiu-jitsu, I had heard because I looked at the jiu-jitsu Reddit, unfortunately,
Oh,
among
no.
other
You went to Reddit?
resources.
Hi, Glenn. I wish we could find that thread.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't one thread necessarily. It was more like jiu-jitsu so welcoming and it's for everybody and this kind of stuff. And while I agree with that for the most part, especially after moving to Tennessee, which was a new state for me at the time,
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends here.
Still don't, but go ahead.
Still don't, but I'm more attuned to that now. So I go into a gym, and everybody's lovely to me, which is great. But it's like I'm not
Lovely.
thinking-
Was it an Elton John concert or a gym?
everybody's nice to me, but I was like, why don't I feel like I'm making any connections with anybody?
Yeah.
It's like I'm showing up to class, I'm doing this, and I almost have a feeling of like, hey, I've been doing this 2 weeks now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now, multiple years into it, I'm like, oh, because how many of these, and having seen this myself, how many of these guys that come in gung ho just end up stopping for whatever reason?
Oh,
Like, I'm not going to waste my
dude.
time.
So many.
And it's not even like a malicious thing. It's like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
bring you into my circle of friendship and this kind of stuff and be training partners and roll together all the time and be cool with you if you're just going to be gone in 2 months
Yeah.
or 6 months, whatever it is.
That was real prevalent. Yeah. It's still prevalent, but I think academies are a little more friendly because they want students. They
Mhm.
realize you need to have members to stay in business. But you are right about that. And then sometimes the people will come in, they're super gung ho. They tell you all the stuff they're going to do. They'll drop $500. They'll buy gear.
Mm.
They'll pay for a bunch of shit, and they'll go hard for 10 or 12 days, maybe 2 weeks. And then you won't see them.
yeah.
They'll disappear.
Mhm.
And then you might see them later. Oh, something happened. They'll kind of repeat the same thing again. And then later, they'll go, oh, I didn't go because people weren't friendly enough. Or they just make up some reason why they're not going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of the time, what people do is they mistake I'm going to put a bunch of money on this, and that means that I'm really committed to it, instead of putting their time onto it. Because that's the real commitment, is showing up.
It's the classic gym, like workout gym thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I got a membership, so that means I'm going to go. And it's like, you never
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
You
So
don't-
Planet Fitness is a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
Tons of people
Right.
who spend
Yeah.
the money on the subscription
Yeah.
and never go.
Never go.
Never go. They'd rather lose the money.
I'm going to sell a membership here called the Never Go membership, and you can never come. It's $25 a month, though, and you could say you have a
train
jiu-jitsu
At
membership.
10P Nashville.
You are
Yeah.
basically, you are what we call
We don't train. You are a member at 10P Nashville.
you're a member at 10P Nashville, but you're a non-practicing member.
Oh, there
We
you
need
go.
a better name for that, though. So
yeah, like a Catholic who doesn't go to church.
you're an executive. You're an executive. You're a booster. You're a jiu-jitsu
The
booster.
Booster Club.
You're in the booster club. You're down with it. You
Yeah.
love Eddie Bravo. You love Joe Rogan.
Right.
You smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
You just don't have the time.
I'm into the lifestyle, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Eddie. I'm flat earthing.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of BJJ,
You want to wear jiu-jitsu t-shirts.
but like it's just like it's hard,
yeah.
you know.
I watch Rogan. Is that enough?
So I'm a jiu-jitsu booster.
yeah.
You could join
How many classes can you come to? 1, 2?
in a what?
Like with
To
that?
be in the booster program?
Yeah. With
None.
None at all?
No.
Oh. I thought you could do like one
You don't
or
have to
two.
live
'cause
by
then
here.
you'd
just-
be in
You
Arkansas.
just be a booster, dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You got to go next level.
I thought you had to do like 1 or 2 classes
No.
max to at least.
Oh,
be
then they're
like-
going to feel guilty because they never come. I'm
Oh.
going to take that guilt away.
Yeah.
There might be some like online remote opportunities where we
Oh, there
can
you go.
we could get in a thing and talk.
Yeah, Patreon/InsideBJJ.
Talk about the game, talk about jiu-jitsu, talk about Eddie,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll give him shout outs like, hey, yo, what's up, dog? Good to see you.
Yeah.
The boosters are so
My
important.
favorite student.
Hey. Yeah. They'll get like booster belts.
Booster belts.
Yeah, like a blue belt. And all you got to do is reach a certain amount of money paid.
Yeah.
After $1,000, you're a booster blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have booster blacks. I don't know
All
what
the belts have
yeah.
a very nice monogrammed B on them.
And then
for the
once
booster.
you get your booster black, you no longer have to pay to be in the booster club. No skin off my teeth, man. You don't even come.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah.
And one of your monthly payments pays for a belt. So
yeah. What am I doing? I
Yeah.
need to do this
Yeah,
right
that's a
we gotta get
Patreon
now.
idea. TM,
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't steal that.
Yeah, that's mine. BJJ Booster Club. Other jiu-jitsu culture things, man. In the gi world, some places are real sticky about asking permission to get on and off the mats.
Oh.
That's like a big no-no.
I'm an adult.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about that is if you are somebody who maybe has health problems and you're going to step out because you're winded or you don't feel well, you should tell somebody in case you walk into the hallway and
And pass out or something.
fall down or something. Outside of that, you got to go to the bathroom. You got to do something. Now, I will say this, dude, I'm out here teaching the same people over and over and over and over and over and over. And there's some people that when the going gets rough, they got to go potty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When the matchups change over and they're about to get matched up with dude they don't like, it's potty time.
Me.
I got to go to
I
potty.
hate it.
And I'll be back in 4.5 minutes. And then I'll drag ass the next 90 seconds and I'll skip that partner.
Oh, the round's over?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a kids class move. The kids were notorious for doing that.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
gotta
gotta.
go.
Some kids would every class they take a 20-minute bathroom break.
Yeah.
They just go in the bathroom and stand by the door, just like look at the ceiling. I guess I don't know, fucking around.
That has never been a problem for me.
No.
Just like I think like only a handful of times have I ever been like, oh fuck, I need to go take a piss. Like I take a piss
Yeah,
before I.
I mean, if I gotta pee, I gotta pee.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
The worst. Let's just talk about the worst. We're talking about secret culture. The worst is the mid sparring rounds. 5 rounds into a 10-round session, and you got to take a shit.
oh,
I have actually not had this happen to me.
And
Luckily.
you have a decision to make.
Do I use this
There's
as a weapon?
a couple bad ways this can go.
yeah.
Okay. The first bad way is you can feel that turd calling for a right away and you can shrug it off. Like, I'm not letting you through, homie. You have to sit tight and be patient. The risk is that somebody may force it out.
Get a neon belly on
And
A wicked hard dog fight.
that is a particular type of faux pas that's really hard to live down.
Yeah, you get a new
Sure.
nickname after shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Stinky Steve.
So you don't want to do that. If you have to take a whiz, I mean, you can burst your bladder. That is something that could happen. If your bladder is really full and somebody goes hard knee on belly, it could hurt you.
Oof.
It's my new favorite.
Pretty
submission.
rare, but it could happen. So if you got to take a whiz, you got to take a whiz. But if you got to take the poo, you got to go number dose. And then you go into that stall, you pull your sweaty gear down, you fucking let loose, and now you're like, I got to put this sweaty gear back on.
Back on.
And then roll with other people.
And then go back in and train.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
Am
more
I-
sweaty.
Basically, at that point, you have to grade the job that took place behind you.
Yeah.
If it was quick and clean, just whoop, one shot, you might pull it off. But
Yeah.
if it's
If it's trailing.
if it's a dirty job, if you got to
Oh,
call a
man.
crew in,
Yeah.
you got to call it a night. That's a wrap, son.
Yeah.
For
You're
anybody,
donezo.
any of the audience that doesn't know, we're in a corporate style building, so we got the 1-ply toilet
Oh,
paper
yeah.
in there. Ain't nothing getting clean.
No, you're and if you're wet and sweaty,
Yeah. If you go
Going
to the bathroom
right
and you
through.
have to peel those things off of you to sit down, you need to go home after you're
I
done.
think that's an automatic go home.
Yeah. You want staph or sepsis? That's how
You know
get
what?
it.
I'm gonna have a bathroom monitor. You know when you go to the nightclub There's like a dude in the
Oh,
bathroom who's
man.
he's like the stall boss.
I
he's like,
always
if you guys are
hate
looking for
when there's a
coke.
bathroom and there's that dude there, dude. I hate it.
Does
I
this
can't
guy
stand it.
get hired by the company,
Yeah.
or is he contracted? Are they
Nah,
just
he's
like
hired.
It's either. I've seen both. Downtown.
little
Oh, really?
Joe
I've seen both downtown.
runs the bathroom, and we let him do his thing, and he makes sure people aren't doing drugs unless they're his drugs, and they're not boning in the bathroom.
Yeah.
More
you
or
guys
less.
are doing coke. They're
Yeah.
looking for coke.
That's pretty much
I
what
am
that
Fuck,
too.
person.
dude, you couldn't pay me enough to fucking sit in a shitty smelling bathroom
Dude,
and hand people towels and shit.
it's I hate it when I walk into the bathroom and I see that dude.
I
I'm
fucking hate it. I'm like, shit.
I never have money to give him.
Well,
These
okay,
fucking
well,
dudes take Venmo now. By the way,
what's the etiquette? You have to tip this guy every time you go to fucking take a leak?
dude? Listen, man, I'm not tipping the dude. I don't listen. I don't
Dude,
need service in the bathroom.
I don't need service either, but fuck, he's there and he's having to fucking smell
I didn't
all
ask
the
for it.
I didn't either, but fuck, man, that guy, the least I can do is give him a fucking buck.
No, he put himself there.
I get that.
This guy, the only job he can get is in the shitter. Come on.
Bro, I get that, but
It's
fuck
an
me, man.
unnecessary job. It's not needed.
It's not needed.
He
but
could be in the hallway and he could sell mints and he could sell the bullshit he sells. We don't need him in the
no,
bathroom.
I agree. I agree with you, but he is there, and I'm not gonna.
What's the
I think it's like an old timey thing, right? This was like a very older.
It's very off-putting, but I need a guy like that in the jiu-jitsu bathroom.
Yeah,
And he puts you on a timer. Whenever you go into the stall, he's like, you got 4 minutes.
go.
Like Guinness Book of World Record, longest piss is 3 minutes, 30 seconds. If you're in there past 4 minutes, you're not going number 1 anymore. We're rounding up. You're going number 2. You got to go home.
You got to go home.
And the attendant then he makes a walkie-talkie call. Front desk person grabs that person's gear, boom, 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 and we have like a little parting bag, just a go-home bag, and we put it right outside the bathroom door. And when he comes out, he's like, oh, I got to go. Dang.
Fuck.
Right out. You can't even come back in the gym.
Yeah.
I don't even think it should be a timer, right? Because if you pee, you can wash your hands. You're all good. The door guy needs to be listening to the ferocity of the shit.
Like, is he
you have a
measuring the
big-
plunk?
Yeah, if you have a
Plunk
big
test?
bubbly noisemaker, you'd be like,
Yeah.
dude, you're going the fuck home.
You're going home.
You're
Dude,
not spreading that.
they
to
have a
other people.
sound meter.
Yeah.
Goes,
Yeah.
It's like moving
The
around.
Yeah,
clapo
decibel,
meter?
yeah. Decibel meter.
Yeah, he's like, you just hit half a decibel.
Bro, if you hit
dude.
0.7, you're out
You
of
got to
here.
go.
You're out, dog.
See you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
No.
Take
yeah.
a shower, you fucking savage.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's gross.
It's true.
I have
though.
never had to. I've never had to make that game time decision. Luckily, so
The gi affords you a little more fabric buffer.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
yeah, but smells travel.
I trained with a guy that we called Dirty Larry. I'm not kidding.
Did he moonlight as a porn star with that name?
No, Dirty Larry he wasn't a dirty person, but
It's an
his
odd name to give him.
sweat turned everything
Just-
brownish yellow.
Oh, I know
Oh,
what you
there's a-
mean.
Think about your diet. I think.
And his gi pants always had a brown stain through the ass crack because of this.
That's what because of the sweat.
So he's sweating all the time.
Yeah.
And we had a guy.
Or he had mud butt.
I don't think he did. He sweated profusely. He was probably a half tick more than me. Like he was bad. He was leaking. So we had a dude training with us who worked for the FBI, but he wasn't like, I'm Joe FBI. He just had some kind of job with the FBI.
Like
And-
you said, I'm Joey FBI's.
Larry was just had this raunchy fucking gi on. And
Was he smelly?
it didn't smell like butt. It just smelled like something that's had a lot of sweat in
So
it.
the look
Yeah.
was worse than the smell.
It's just not good.
Okay.
Not good. And Chuck called him out in front of everybody.
I imagine it was not like a nice call out.
He
either.
said it
Hey,
like,
fucko.
he said it like this. I'll give you my best reenactment. We're all on the mat. We're kind of doing this little, everyone's warming up and doing their little thing. And this guy comes in. We're like, oh, so-and-so's here. And everybody knows he works in the FBI. Oh, it's cool. And we're dabbing him up. And yeah. And Chuck's like, pretty Joe fucking law enforcement. And he's stretching, cop talk or whatever, He's a cool dude. And Larry comes on the mat, and Chuck just like makes eyes at Larry, and he sees Larry's backside, and Chuck always would do this. He grabbed the bridge of his nose when he was like upset.
Oh.
And he went, God damn it, Larry, have some respect. Fucking FBI's here right now, and you show up in this. He just like humiliated him.
Damn.
Larry came to class with a new gi, the next class. I don't know. 6 weeks later, man,
Done.
same thing.
Oh, we're back to it.
Just a whiter, whiter everywhere else, but yeah.
You gotta take something to that, man. I don't know. Fucking
Here's
club
an idea.
soda, fucking
Get a blue gi.
get a blue gi or a black one.
Get a black one.
Yeah.
Get a rust-colored gi. Get a camo gi.
Yeah.
It's like,
Do you have any
Yeah.
gis that come in the color of mud butt?
yeah, that was ugh.
That's rough.
And it just made you feel weird.
Sure.
So I guess another secret jiu-jitsu culture thing is like, we'll talk about it. If you keep showing up like that, we'll talk.
Oh,
It gets around.
Listen, everybody knows who Stinky is.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's you.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of an allowance. Not everybody smells like they just got out of the shower.
Sure.
People, every house has its own smell
Sure.
based on the diet,
Yeah.
the things they cook. And sometimes, like, maybe you smell some of that. Whatever. I'm not a princess. But if you smell like butt particles, you got to go take care of that.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple gyms before this one where there was when I was training in a gi, where there was always a cat piss gi guy.
Yeah. That's
That's
gross.
I would roll with those dudes once.
Yeah, and there's the problem with the gi guys is a lot of them don't wash their gis every training session.
Which is ridiculous to me.
There was this.
There's people that don't wash their gi every.
There are
That is
people.
fucking
It's
nuts.
a cultural
Yes.
plus if you
Yes.
don't wash your belt.
If you don't, well, I know the belt. Yeah, I've heard
That's
of that.
still
It's
yucky.
still gross, but fuck it.
I didn't wash my belt. but
That's ridiculous.
It's a belt.
That's a
I'm not-
calculated
Fucking
risk.
disgusting.
I'm not gonna.
Disgusting.
That's not gonna break the fucking bank.
No,
But the fucking pants and the fucking jacket, dog. Like,
there was this kind of rule of thumb back in the day that you should wash your gi every other practice. You could wear it twice. I knew a dude that would wear his gi the whole week and just throw it in his trunk at the end of class
the
and then
fuck up.
pull it out and put it back on.
Disgusting.
it's all crusty.
And then he thought no gi was gross.
Yeah.
Like, bro, come on. It's yeah.
Dude.
So if there's some stinky dudes and everybody knows who it is, I've had a couple guys here that I said like, "Yo, dude, like you're smelling pretty ripe today." I had two guys.
I was just about to bring them up because they don't train here, but
They got partnered with each other and they both smell. It was like
onions, dude.
it was like ass Armageddon.
ketchup
dude.
and onions.
So I wasn't training to that day. I was back here doing some stuff and working on the front end and stuff like that. I just happened. So they came in and they started the training session with Tim and whoever else was here. And then I happened like 30 minutes into class, and it was in the middle of it was probably July or something. So it was nice and
No.
warm in here.
Right.
Yeah.
I walk as soon as I open this door to the studio, hits me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god!" I know it's not Tim.
I told him like, "Yo, guys, you can stay."
Mm-hmm.
But I put some deodorant, some wipes up on the desk. You have to use them before the next class.
To address this.
Yeah. They're like, oh, like you can't even smell each other.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That was like my biggest worry when I first started training.
Mine
was
too.
that I would be a stinky
Yeah.
person.
I hate smelling bad, regardless
so-
of the context.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
hate smelling bad.
And so I would like shower like I still shower pretty
Yeah.
regularly,
Yeah.
but it was like my biggest worry
Yeah.
is like that I would be that guy,
If-
that stinky guy.
If I'm home, I'll just take a shower before class. It's just part of
yeah.
my routine. I'm like, I'm going to
Yeah.
go train. I'm going to go take a shower first.
take a shower
Me too.
first. Yeah.
Every time I'm here, I'm about 20 minutes out of a shower.
Yeah. I always hated it when dudes would come in. They'd be like, dude, I've been working out all day, 12 hours in the heat.
Yeah.
Just dog ass. And you're like, oh, and you came straight here.
Gross.
Lovely. Or when you do kids like no-gi and they just roll in the shit they wore to school that day.
Yeah.
They're like, they have no concern.
Yeah.
They got their fucking sweats and their Nintendo Power T-shirt. They're just like, this is just like whatever. They don't even think it's martial arts at that point. It's just
Right.
That's why
roughhousing.
they're
Right.
getting ringworm left and right.
Yeah.
Little fucking buckets of disease.
Man, I had two instances in Stockton where there was a Dookie Pebble on the mat in
No.
Told me about
Oh.
this.
kids class.
Fuck.
And I saw it, and I'm like, And one of the other kids said, I think somebody might have went poo-poo, Coach Tim. I'm like, oh, no. Like, if another kid rats you out, that's like kid intelligence is, unless they're straight up liars, they're pretty much telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking around, and I saw like a little streak. Like, you know when there's a little blood on the mat? So faint,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
see it, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And I almost like, I don't want to have to deal with this.
I don't want to know.
And then I looked, and I saw a pebble.
Ugh.
And at the time, I had Yeppy, Jonathan Tomasian, who is a black belt at six blades. I think it's Rafael Lovato's, Shanji Hibaro's association. Really great dude. He was teaching for me back in the day. And we were both at the class. And I was like, John, you got to go pick that up. I was like, I'm going to pull ring. And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to pick it up. I'm like, you got to pick it up. He's
Oh.
like, you pick it up. I'm like, you pick it up. I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up, but you got to smell it.
Ugh.
So I picked it up. I'm like, smell it. And he's like, no, you smell it.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
you smell it. And he goes, let's smell it together.
Ugh.
So I'm like,
So you guys held hands.
I'm like,
and smelled the
okay. So
pebble.
I held it up like this,
Yeah.
right? And we just kind of both like went in and we're like, no. And I smashed it with my hand. I don't know why I did that. I just like, and then I opened it up and I'm like, that's dookie.
Yeah.
There's a little corn kernel in there.
That's shit, all right.
So then I had to go onto the mat like when the hotel maintenance guy closes the pool because some kid dookied in it. Like, freeze!
Yeah.
What?
Get out of the
Everybody off the mats. Then I had a little private talk with the
We
parents.
got a shitter in
Said,
here.
listen,
Can't
one
have that.
of your children has an issue going on, and you need to take your kids home, figure out which one it is, and just make sure it doesn't happen again. Not the end of the world, but this is like a one-time thing. You can't be a repeat dookie offender.
Fuck no.
That's
you
a
gotta
problem.
nip that in the bud.
You
right-
got to go
right
to
away.
a therapist at that point.
Yeah.
If you're doing repeat dookie offenses,
Yeah.
that's therapy. Get him in. You got to get him in. He's got to talk to somebody.
Yeah, you can't go through life just shitting.
I think I know who the culprit was, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
Yeah, I didn't say
did
nothing.
you give him the Chuck treatment?
Yeah. No shit on the mat.
No shit on the mat.
I know
Tim.
what you did.
I know what you did.
Come on,
Smell
Billy.
it. You like the way your own shit smells? Yeah, that was
rub his nose in it.
super gross, dude.
Oh man,
oh,
that's
it was
rough.
so gross. And then we cleaned the mats like crazy.
Got bleached that motherfucker.
And then the adult crew comes in, like, "What's up, coach? Smells like you guys strong in here." And I'm like, "You really want to know what happened before
Just
you
gotta-
got here?"
gotta-
Yeah.
it's about the discipline and effort. You got to clean the mats.
Yeah,
You know?
like
Just gotta.
I waited till the end of adult class. By the way, it smelled strong because someone shit on the mats, and they're like, "Oh."
I'm going home.
The mats we just shrimped up and down and rolled for 45 minutes on. Yeah, those mats.
Dirty Larry's probably
My
like, oh, that's
face
why
was on
Mike G
that
looks
mat.
like this.
He-Man, you rolled in shit. Yeah,
Oh.
good times. Yeah, if you guys think of any more of those secret jiu-jitsu culture things, I'd be interested in hearing them.
Well, one for me is I notice who you do and don't roll with. I pay very close attention to who dodges people.
Yeah. Well,
Video ended.
I dodge some people.
No, but you have the black belt courtesy.
Black belt courtesy. Try to play that everywhere I go.
If you dodge something, then it's out of a deep knowledge of, I ain't feeling that today. You know what you're in for. and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm not in the mood. Or whatever.
And there's some people, when I train with them, there's no value in it almost.
Yeah.
The round is the same round. They do
Yeah.
the same stuff.
Yeah.
And they feel good because I didn't smoke them. And I'm not saying like I'm awesome. I just think that's what they're thinking. And so it's just the same stuff over and over and over. And it gets to a point where it's like, this isn't that fun. We're in this round and they're doing the same thing. And then they're trying like all these dangerous, super painful subs to try to catch me real quick. So they, and it's like, dude, I'm not target practice, man.
No.
Just, I'd rather go roll with you guys or roll with somebody that's like trying to grapple and do shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a better experience. At a certain point, you have to enjoy it. you're sacrificing a lot of your body
Yeah.
and your time to do it. You at least have to get something out of it in terms of enjoyment.
Not to blow smoke up your ass, but every time that we roll together, I try, if it's not like a gentlemanly one, we're warming up or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's in like we get each other round 9, we're both smoked, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I will still try to do something that I have not done yet if I can get to it,
Yeah.
hoping that if I do it correctly or so incorrectly, you'll comment on it. It's like, hey man, you could, if you just move your leg here or whatever, just like a tip on how I can do it better because it's something I'm just trying to learn.
I just go, you really going to do that?
You've said that before, yeah.
You really going to do
And then
that?
you wrist lock me.
It's
the best.
Hey, man. Yeah. I try not to avoid people, but just some people are rough, dude.
Yeah.
They just go too hard.
So-
man.
That was one of the ones that I found out is that like there's some people out there that they don't want to use technique. They just want to make you uncomfortable. They
Yes.
just want to just no, not even like Kessa, like I'm gonna lay my pressure down on you. That's fine. No, it's like I'm gonna dig my shin into your shin just cause. I'm gonna dig my forearm into your face just cause. Like,
Oh, we've had this discussion.
yeah, like there's no added benefit to it besides like I'm just gonna hassle you. You know?
legal.
Right. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be, I'm not going to say anything like
Yeah,
it,
of course.
because technically you can do that,
Yeah.
but
We've talked about it at home.
but
If somebody does that to me,
that round's
like,
going to get spicy
yeah.
real quick.
Oh, cowabunga it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then like that's the problem because then those guys, a lot of times that play that way, they get real indignant when somebody does something to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They get like, oh, he did this.
My view is you're not good at jiu-jitsu, so you're using some dick moves that people don't focus on and getting really good at them. So when somebody else who is better than you at jiu-jitsu uses dick moves that are more dickish and better than yours, you start getting that indignancy.
Yeah, you start getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the way that game works. The biggest dick wins.
Yeah, that's why I win.
But that's how the guy that's willing to be the bigger butthole and the bigger jerk and care less about your health and safety, he's going to be the guy that wins that battle.
Yeah.
I notice from in myself, if someone's being a dick with me, my knee cuts will get purposefully closer and closer to the groin.
I don't do that,
Oh,
but
I
I
do.
will stifle somebody and hold them in a position where like they can't move, and I'll just hold them.
I won't say who, but I've not recently, but within the last few months, I saw you hold somebody just that I knew you could smoke if you wanted to because they were so relatively new in a really, really like crazy straitjacket for like 3.5 minutes. And they were just doing everything they could to get out of it. And you were like, nah.
Well, it's because they go crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, I want to let this guy go, but I don't want him to elbow me in the face when
Right.
I let him go.
Right.
It seemed to me like you were holding on to a really pissed off chihuahua.
Yeah.
There's nothing they could do.
You got to kind of calm them down.
Hey,
They
man,
got to burn through that crazy, like, and it's like, okay, now we can train.
now we can
Right.
do some jujitsu.
Yeah.
I see that from like a lot of wrestlers. Is
Yeah.
that they'll be like, rah, 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 and then
You got to
just-
go.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu has these pauses in it
Yeah.
that are
Lols.
can bite you in the ass, but sometimes that's part of the transitional changes in the game,
Yeah.
and you could be on your back. So there's a part of it that it's not always necessary to go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when I first brought that up, I think it's important that you guys mention that because you're coming from a point of view of rough and like dick moves. What I was talking about in my observation is who in my mind is kind of being a bitch.
Oh, like who's avoiding people?
Avoiding people because it's either they have, to me, it's a shitty attitude to have if you won't go with people that might beat you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Now, some people avoid people because they're afraid of getting hurt.
There's that too,
I've seen
which I
that.
understand.
Sure.
Some people avoid people because they're scared,
Mhm.
which is a different issue.
Yeah.
Some people are legitimately afraid to roll with you because they experience some kind of psychological terror internally when they roll with you.
Mm.
Right? And so they avoid it. They're like, dude, I don't want to be stuck.
Yeah.
Like it freaks them the fuck out.
Yeah.
For you, it's pleasant because you're on top for 6 minutes. Like,
Also,
it's nothing.
if we're, I mean, being really specific, if that's what's happening with me, sometimes like I enjoy mental terrorism, so
To a point,
I do.
you know. But I think some people do that. And then if I know a guy's like that, I might back off a little bit.
Mhm.
If I pass guard, I might not hold them too tight. I might give them a little space to breathe.
Me too.
Yeah.
By the way,
And I don't know if that's nice, if that's a mistake. Like, are you building weakness into them? But not everybody that I'm training with is trying to be a world-class grappler.
Mhm.
A lot of people are just trying to have something to do a couple nights a week, and that's it. And that's
Well, that-
okay.
I mean, and that's kind of what you want as a training partner, right? Is somebody that can recognize that, somebody that can be like, okay, you know, Gary's here.
Yeah.
He's a, I don't know, he works for whatever X business industry. He comes twice a week, and he's got 2 kids at home. This dude's not trying to come out here and get it and like
Right.
win Naga one
Yeah.
day, you know.
Yeah.
He's just this is his hobby. This is what he does. This is his exercise. Cool. Like, I'm not gonna try to put it on him, you know. But
I'm gonna break him.
yeah, but you know, knowing like who these guys are and like having what's the word I'm looking for here? Like some kind of connection to them and like having understand like team building
Yeah.
type of
A
thing. and you know-
relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
relationship. Perfect. Yeah, like knowing who your partners are is huge, you know.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, because then, I mean, if you treat every single one like a life and death struggle, like fuck, you're gonna move some people out of there.
I recently had that conversation with somebody
Oh yeah,
about, hey, it's important when you're at a gym and you're on a team that you establish relationships with the people you train with.
yeah,
Doesn't mean you got to suck their D. It
Sure.
just means say what's up, be friendly, get to know them a little bit. It's a back and forth.
yeah,
Realize that you can't do this without the people in the room that you're doing it
Yeah.
with. They are not objects for you to break
yeah,
and people for you to disregard. They're real people with real things they're working on. And if you could build a relationship with them, you could have better rounds and better training. And you could have more of the more that you trust somebody that you train with, the better you can train.
Yeah.
The harder you can train, the more riskier you can train if you can trust that person.
Mhm.
But if you don't know them, how are you going to trust them?
right,
And I tried to explain this to somebody. I said, hey, like, if you're training and you hurt somebody, you fuck them up, like, bad, which happened.
Yeah.
All right. Now they can't train. They're out, dude. They're out. And they don't have a relationship with you because you never put any energy into building one. But now we have to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're a good dude
Yeah.
and you didn't mean to do this. But in the 10 months of you coming in here and training, you hardly built rapport with anybody. So there is no trust.
right, right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. If you approach it from that standpoint of like, this is just like fucking grappling. I'm here, I'm a lone wolf. Me against the guy in front of me.
Yeah.
This is like, dude, no,
Gotta
not
take
here.
This guy out.
No, well, then you fuck guys up and you don't even care. You go home and eat ice cream and feel good about it. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I
though.
know. Yeah, you watch
like-
Law and Order, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
and then on the other side of this is like the dudes that are like way too timid, right? It's
You
just-
get that too. They're afraid.
they're afraid, and they're
I want to crush that fear out of them.
That's
With
not
love.
how it works, though.
That's what was done to me, and I feel
just
I
want
was
to beat
made.
the shit out of them until they're not scared anymore.
I was made better for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for you.
Some guys are afraid of acknowledging that they're getting better.
What do you mean?
They want to stay in the I don't know anything, everyone can beat my
Oh.
ass every round stage because it's comfortable and there's no expectations.
Oh, that's, a
I
good-
can't
that's
stand that.
interesting.
You know?
Yeah, because
It's
growing is painful.
Well,
it's hard.
yeah, 'cause then you gotta then it's like, hey, you've been doing this for a minute and you are getting better, and somebody who just came in beat you.
Yeah.
Okay, big deal. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good, but big deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you're not getting better.
Or it's like once you get your blue belt and then everybody starts going really hard on you. and
Yeah,
you're like,
then you
"Fuck,
quit.
I don't.
Racing blue belt. Where did he go?
I'm already practicing showing up late. I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, you're already getting your
I'm getting all my purple belt late. My-
BJJ booster membership.
Yeah, I'm getting all my purple belt absentee first 15 to 30 minutes of class, so I don't have to be late when I go wherever it is.
It was interesting when I got my blue belt. I felt like I wasn't ready for a blue belt, and you gave me my blue belt, but I didn't want to. I took like a weird approach that apparently a lot of people don't take, where I felt bad and I was thinking like, man, I really don't want to let Tim down. Like, I don't want people to think that Tim made a mistake. I have to like make absolutely sure that I stick to it and train and like show people that I
Yeah.
deserve the blue belt. You
Right.
know?
That's how I felt too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of people are just like, yeah, I was a blue belt. I was waiting for it, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's about fucking time you gave
yeah,
it to me.
and now I got it, and so
Yeah.
now I'm out of here. You know?
Dude, I know a guy who bought his black belt.
Bought a black belt?
Well, he bought the black belt
Oh, I see.
that he was going to be wearing when he gets his black belt. Like, this will be mine, the one I wear.
Mhm.
When he was over probably 2 years away from it. He already bought it, had it in his closet,
That's
had it all figured out.
That's some manifestation right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a level of confidence in yourself that I do not possess.
That is somebody who doesn't there is some gamesmanship with the belts, and some people say it's a rip-off bullshit thing. I don't necessarily believe that, actually. I think that ranking people, and look, anytime you define where somebody's at with a skill set, or you attempt to, then you have to like put a boundary on it. Like, you're here. This is where you are. You're here.
Yeah.
And then those you're here points have been given like really excessive value for whatever reason. Like, I'm here. I'm purple belt. Ooh, he's purple belt. But people like that because they're able to track their progress a little bit. You want to feel like at a certain point, have I achieved any level of mastery over this? Right?
Right.
And you want the people that have been doing it longer than you and that are better than you, or that have more experience, let's say it that way, you want them to be the ones that go, yes, you're doing it right.
I think that's the big thing, at least for me.
Validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Just like the tribe that you're now inculcated in, coming together and saying like, hey man, we're gonna say congrats today because you're
Right.
you're here.
right.
You're at this point now, which is great.
If you don't do that, then what do? You just keep coming, man. You get better, you'll be better. Eventually
Yeah.
you'll be a good guy.
Yeah.
That's not enough for most people.
I mean, if you've been coming in for like 7 years and then you get tapped or beat like repeatedly by some dude at like 4 years, you know, what does that mean? You know, I have no way of gauging any. I mean, of course, even if you still have the belts, that could still very much
for
happen.
sure.
But yeah, I think you're right. There's something to the belts, the being able to track your progress, the being able to like have something to show for the time and the effort and the energy that
Yes.
you've put into something.
What's happened is the martial arts business model has recognized that these checkpoints have value
Yeah.
to the customer, and they're like, oh, we can exact a charge for that.
Mm.
Like, you want us to say that that's where you're at? That costs $300.
Right. Right.
We
And
can do it.
obviously, and this other criteria that we're going to tell you is
Right.
actually about.
And you could join this special accelerated program. We can get you up to this level. Pretty. Then it becomes like just checking boxes and belt chasing, and
Yeah.
that's when it's lame.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with somebody going like, "Hey, you're here, man. Good job. You made it to this level."
Yeah.
Chasing it, I probably is not the best idea, but you know, what are you gonna do?
I mean, you're gonna have chasers. What are
Yeah.
you gonna do?
Yeah, it takes time, like anything else.
Yeah,
And I mean, even you can only chase a belt for so long, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. What do you do once you get a black belt? What are you gonna chase then?
If that's been the only thing,
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
if that's been
Well,
your
I mean,
only
for me,
idea,
I chased another black belt.
double black belt.
I have to use that whenever I can.
You have to. You should. You're probably one of like what, maybe 1,000 people. Maybe
I'm sure
probably
there's a
less.
bunch. There's probably more than what we know of. Probably.
I mean, the numbers for like black belts are already in jiu-jitsu are already pretty low. Like if you look at like the grand
Comparatively,
scheme of people,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what yeah, no.
It's the longest black belt to get. So yeah, it's hard.
When I got my gi black belt, I felt like I have a general understanding of the positions, but there's a lot of shit I don't know. I don't know. I felt more aware of it.
Do
at
you
that
feel
point.
like your black belt was just it was your certificate saying that you've made it through basic training?
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you've developed enough of an understanding that you can now develop mastery over it.
Yeah.
But you're not there yet. But you're like a really good candidate for it. That's how I kind of look at
I
it.
see.
You
I heard
know,
somebody describe it as a black belt's an advanced understanding of fundamentals.
yeah. I mean, sure, I could accept that. It's not. You know every technique that exists for every position and every counter to every counter. Nobody knows that. That doesn't exist. There's people making up shit and doing wild shit all the time. You can't track everything that's happening. It's just I think it's just a basic fundamental understanding of it. I think you should be able to talk about it. I'm a little bit suspect of people that are experts that can't talk about it. Like they can't talk about the moves or the sequences in a way that makes sense to somebody else.
Oh, I see. Like in a way that you could like transfer.
Yeah, because that tells me they don't have a coherent context in their own head.
Right.
Now, if English is not their first language, then that might be different. There could be
Sure.
a barrier, but there's a lot of people that can perform, but they're just doing moves,
Yeah.
and
I
they're
mean,
just super high power good at it.
That's like the sign of intelligence, right? That if you can take like a very complex thing and
Simplify it
simplify it and
and
have
teach
somebody,
it to somebody else.
yeah, have somebody understand it in a very simple manner, that shows like real intelligence of that.
That's Darwin's opinion of a good scientific theory. Is taking a complex problem and putting it in,
yeah,
The
solving
simplest.
it with the simplest terms.
Yeah. I
Right.
see.
and I don't know, it's just weird because it's a martial art and a sport.
Yeah.
And it's pulled in both directions.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to lose the martial arts part of it.
No.
The sports part of it is awesome. It's super fun, entertaining. But the martial arts part of it, I still think, even though people talk shit about self-defense, it's super valuable. It could save your ass big time.
Yeah.
Big time. If all you did was combatives, Gracie combatives, those 32 or 36 or there's like 30-something moves in there. You nail
those
that
down.
down,
Yeah.
and then you live roll and you train with that kind of as your perspective. You're not going to beat a purple belt in the room that knows how to play De La Hiva and K-guard and reverse spider and all this shit. You're not going to beat that guy. But if something happens outside of the gym, you're going to be a lot better prepared to handle it. And that's martial arts.
Yeah.
That's real martial arts, like in that context. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu really is. It was really based for that. That was the whole, even judo too. And once it got competitive, they added belts and
Sure.
ranks and
A way to-
points
yeah.
and all that stuff. But even the original point system was based on being able to dominate and strike.
Right. Right.
Why is Neon Belly awarded points? Because you could fuck someone up from Neon Belly.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, you're going to get into Ashi. Ashi wasn't given, you don't get any value for a hip pin. You don't get points. Even though it's a pin, you don't get points for those kinds of pins.
We can't really fuck somebody
You
up.
can't hit somebody.
Yeah.
You could break their leg, right, if you know how to do it, but you
Sure.
can't hit somebody from there.
Yeah.
They could kick you in your face.
Yeah.
That can happen.
By the way, the person, just in terms of self-defense and that kind of stuff, somebody can pull a gun if you have them in Ashi, by the way.
Well, that's true too.
So.
It's not that that's like a terrible thing. Yeah, you can leg lock somebody in a fight. Hell yeah, you can.
For sure.
All the moves work.
Mhm.
They for sure work.
Mhm.
But in terms of like being able to, I don't know, maybe you could use honey hole to hold somebody down, but Neon Belly, mount, back control, side, all those positions were given elevated status because they're good positions to have in a fight. Oh, you can't ground and pound. Well, we're not doing ground and pound though. It's like we're trying to stay alive, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to
trying to get
control
the
and
hell out of there,
negotiate.
yeah.
Yes, we're not trying to fuck somebody up. I mean, maybe you are, but then you have another fight to win.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep perspective. I'm thinking of starting, and I'm going to call this idea out first too, in case somebody copies me. I'm seriously thinking about doing it on Wednesdays because we have that 6:00 time slot where we used to have wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking about doing like a gi class for no gi jiu-jitsu. It's gi for no gi. And the idea is that you use the gi with specific drills and techniques to improve people's no-gi game. And this is how it helps you improve. It's a scaffold for you to help you. A lot of people can't learn the open guard sequences correctly or all of them because they don't have good enough handles and they can't get their body to do it yet. They haven't developed even the mental pathway of how it's supposed to feel or go. You put a jacket on them and they could hold sleeves and they could hold pants, and now they could start whipping their body around and they start getting a feel for it in their core. Like, this is how you do the movement. And then you take the jacket off. Try it now. And now suddenly they could do it a little bit better than what they
that
could.
makes
Shit starts
sense.
to click.
That's how you're supposed to use the gi. It's a training tool.
I think
Yeah.
the only reason that ever clicked for me personally quickly was because of my first year doing like 2 or 3 days in a gi.
See, and I had a really hard time with that kind of stuff
You've
when
never
I
done gi.
I never did gi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the
makes sense.
beginning, we would try to do, I don't know, Kiss of the Dragon or whatever. Where you're
Can't do it.
I can't fucking. Couldn't
doesn't
fucking,
feel-
dude.
doesn't
I would
feel right.
try really hard. I could not fucking do it, dude.
And it doesn't mean you can't develop that skill.
Right? I'm sure I could do it now.
But
you
it
know?
helps.
Yeah.
It all it does is it's an implement that helps you learn when you're at the stage of you need to learn this.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get better at this. Once you kind of can do it, you don't need to spend hours and hours with the jacket as a training tool. But if you just use it as a device to train, not a device to compete. The problem is that the training tool got turned into the competition modality.
Yeah.
And now it's a weapon that's being used in competition because people are going to find I could choke somebody with this. I can do that. I can tie somebody up. That's beyond the point. It really is. Like, that wasn't the original point. They put uniforms on because they don't want to fuck their clothes up, not because they needed a lapel that was basically a belt, right, stitched into the fabric.
Yeah.
They didn't do it for that so they'd get better cross chokes. The cross choke came later. You know what I'm saying? It was derived from the training device. I just think it's like we got sidetracked on it and it became like super important, super specialized.
Yeah.
I think it still has a place in grappling and just learning how to grapple.
Sure. Sure.
It's kind of like not necessarily training wheels, but it's just a device that helps you a little bit. It just gives you a little boost.
Definitely be interested in that.
When people can't do pull-ups, you know what they do? They put a band over that pull-up bar and they put that band on their foot and they just have and that helps them develop the
form.
strength through the full range that they can't ever get to because they can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying with it. I think if we could approach it that way, we can find the gi's proper place and everyone can benefit. That's what I want to try to do.
That makes sense.
I'm going to do it.
You should.
Well,
I'll probably get like 3 people to come.
I'm in.
I couldn't come because the weather changed.
That's perfect. Doing gi in the winter, I think, is perfect because people are going to be wearing jackets, so you add a level of realism to it, or semi-realism anyway.
Yeah. And you have the practice where you're not wearing the gi the whole practice. That's the point.
So with the goal being gi for no gi, and you get to shed that motherfucker at the end. Oh my God,
dude.
that's going to be the best feeling.
Escapes, when you learn how to escape side control in the gi and you get better at it and proficient at it, and then you take the gi off,
You're a
it's
ninja.
so much easier to get out.
Yeah.
wow.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy the difference that side control could give you, the kind of pressure you could put in, and everything bad that comes with being in bottom side is so much worse in a gi.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's
You could
hell.
lock somebody down to where they can't even move at all.
Yeah.
It's,
I joke
it's
around
difficult.
about bottom side being my favorite position, and it is one of my favorite positions in no gi.
Not in the
I
gi,
do
though.
not like being
Me
in bottom
neither,
side
man.
in a gi.
Me neither.
It sucks.
Yes, I agree. I think I would rather be mounted than under side control.
In a gi for sure.
Yeah, I think. I've been under some fucking rough mounts though too.
Yeah.
Well, so both you wearing gi pants and somebody that has a nasty monkey mount or a nasty grapevine with all
Yeah.
that friction, dude, your knees feel like they're gonna explode.
Yeah,
That sucks.
fun stuff. That's all. I just want to try to figure out how to use it for that.
That makes sense.
I think there's a bunch of shit you could do, man.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Why not glean it all?
Yeah.
It's the same reason why we practice wrestling when we
Right.
stand up,
Right.
because it works. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, just a message to the teammates that listen to this. The guys that have been bitching about wanting a gi class every now and then, you better show up if Tim starts doing this.
Look at how wrestling's adapted. we don't do wrestling with the shoes on
No.
in no-gi jiu-jitsu. We take the shoes off. So that automatically means there's a whole range of techniques you can't do anymore because you don't have the explosiveness or the speed to cover the distance that's necessary. You just can't do it.
Mm.
You could also be submitted, which doesn't exist in wrestling.
Yeah.
So there's certain places you shouldn't put your head. You might get away with it, but it's not a great idea, and somebody will catch it. So you modify the wrestling. You don't take straight wrestling and I'm just going to straight wrestle, and I'm going to do all the wrestling techniques, and I'm going to have no regard for any of the submit. You'll get submitted. That's a common story, okay? So wrestling gets modified. Well, gi jiu-jitsu is the same way.
Yeah.
You don't just bring it directly across. You modify it. You take the best parts of it, parts that help you use that, and everything else you discard. That's what makes no-gi submission grappling, in my opinion, the best grappling art. You can do everything. There's no restrictions. All the other arts have restrictions. Can't be on your back. That's a pin. Oh, no, in Sambo, you can't do these joint locks because you can only do those joint locks. And in no-gi jiu-jitsu, you can do whatever you want. You want to be on your back? Be on your back. You want to wrestle? Wrestle. You want to do some crazy leg lock? Do a crazy leg lock.
Want to pull guard?
You want to
whatever.
face choke somebody?
Don't do that.
Face choke them. You want to wrist lock? Wrist lock. Mother's milk? Mother. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do it. There's
all
no... So it's... Everything that we're doing should be funneling to that. Picking the best.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. I think we got to go out with a bang here. Is there something... What do you guys got? You guys brought some topics. You guys mentioned something that you both hit on.
That would be an Instagram video.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have to
Okay.
play the video?
I don't
For context.
think I have to.
You don't have to, but I want to. Because I'm Andrew.
Share the screen right fast. Experiencing some lag as per usual.
And
Excuse
one
me.
last notable mention on these things was like long nails.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
Scratch Masters
Dude,
9000.
I've gotten some. I've been getting like gouged. Not lately, but some time ago. Man.
Sam and I have lately both taken some almost jugular cuts to the neck. We've walked away with a
Yeah,
bunch of-
Sam had a rude one.
He had a
Did he?
bad one
Yeah,
a couple
he-
weeks ago.
bad.
Somebody got him good.
Like a tiger talon.
Cut your nails.
Cut your nails. Toenails too.
All right, let's hear this.
I don't know if the sound will come through or not.
No, it will not.
Paganism, which is really Satanism. The martial arts is allowing demons to come in you. You put on that uniform and you go into that karate studio, you are bowing your knee to Satan and you are letting demon spirits come inside of you.
The martial arts emphasize the inactivity of the mind.
The green belt
Inactivity.
Yeah.
referring to growth.
Lady
And
looks like
really
she ate
what
a
it's
bucket of
referring to is growth
KFC.
spiritually. You're growing in the fact that you're growing in this fake pagan demonic energy inside of you.
I
When
do
you get
agree
to the
with that.
brown
Me
belt,
too.
which refers to blood, and then the brown belt is when they start to go more in depth about this chi, this energy, really supernatural strength and ability to be able to move people without touching them. All of these martial arts are rooted in paganism.
That comes from the pits of hell.
Pit 7.
Martial arts are all
Man,
This is
dude, this guy's selling
is-
martial arts. Like you're telling me I get all these like powers and secret knowledge and stuff. Like, sign me up, dude.
that is McDojo Life, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Just give him some credit. I love that guy.
Faith in martial arts. Well, it's interesting. There's two ways that works. The one way, the way I grew up was martial arts was a sin. It wasn't demonic. It was just a sin.
We talked about that a little bit on our podcast.
Oh, it was a
episode.
sin.
It's like, look, man, God's got you.
You don't
Don't-
need to learn how to fight.
You don't. We weren't anti-gun, but we didn't have guns.
Yeah.
We weren't.
You didn't need them.
Liberal.
You don't need to. You don't need martial arts. You're not of this world. You're in the
Right.
world, but not of the world.
Right.
God's got you. That was the. Now, my grandpa was part of the church, but he was a Dust Bowl baby, World War
Sure.
II veteran. He carried a gun,
Yeah. He didn't trust
and
nobody.
he said he'd say, "No flesh is keeping me out of heaven." Like early, you know, like fucking me up. Like I'm staying here. I'm doing God's work for
Right.
as long as He wants me here.
Right.
But the other thing is like some people do church karate. Some
Well,
churches.
that's what it was
talked
about,
about that,
last week. you know,
Yeah.
that with Riley.
Riley did
Yeah.
church karate, and one of my good students from back home did church karate for a while and got really good. Like I say church karate, I mean church jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right.
Basically Gracie combatives in the church.
See, but this is my whole thing. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't know. God wouldn't want you to be able to defend yourself. Like, if some dude just wants to come up to you and fuck you up, like that's God's plan. Like, you just get fucked up. Like,
GP baby. Well, they fall back on the verse where or the setting where Peter, Jesus is praying in the garden after he's been betrayed, and these Roman soldiers come to arrest him, and Peter cuts off Cephas's ear. He was like a high priest. He swords him, and Jesus heals the ear. And he basically says, like, in this setting at some point, he says, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Right.
So we took that to mean, you don't need to be martial. There's no martial in love. Love thy neighbor.
but it sounds more like he's saying, like, if you attack other people, you will get attacked.
yeah.
Not like
We were like, turn the other cheek. Someone clocks you, just let them clock you.
For those of you that have brought a cloak and not a sword, go to the market, sell
And
your
buy
cloak
one.
and buy
Yeah.
a sword.
I know.
Or what's the other one? I don't come bringing peace. I come bearing
Come
the
with the
sword.
sword.
Yeah.
Well, that's Revelations. That's him talking about everybody that deserves the sword.
That's every
at that
fighter's
point.
favorite.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
God has made my hands to do war. Or
Yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
like, I'll die in the cage. That guy always taps. Always. I've never seen one of those. We need some fucking accountability. If you say that there's no way my baby's back home, my wife, my family, I sacrificed too much, I will die in that cage
Yeah.
before I'll.
Two men.
If
enter,
you tap
one
out-
man leaves.
Joe Rogan needs to call you. That you need to talk and you need to explain why you didn't
Why
die.
did you
It's okay
tap?
to say Joe
Why
Rogan
did you tap?
execute you.
Joe Rogan kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sits on you. Dan Cormier just comes and sits on you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, but I don't know. This whole
Demonic
idea,
is
demonic is
Brown
whole-
belt. I
Yeah,
didn't
brown
know
belt
that.
represents blood.
The blood belt.
I
Ooh.
now need to have
Yeah,
a blood belt.
that's what I'm saying. They're
thought it
fucking
was-
selling
I
it.
thought the
dude.
red belt would be the blood belt.
That's
You
what I would
think?
think.
The
I-
brown
I
belt would be
think
the fecal belt, right?
To put a little bit of context there, I think he and Chi were talking about, like, because he mentioned the Chi and shit. I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's talking about all the stuff that we make fun of.
Dillman.
Kung fu
Dillman shit.
stuff
We
Yeah.
have that Dillman book in the
in the
entryway,
lobby.
in the
Yeah.
lobby.
Interesting read.
I have a standing challenge. If you could do a Dillman technique on me and I tap,
you get the gym.
yeah, you get the book.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah. This guy is, he's like slumming for content.
Yeah.
This is a typical dude who's doing too many Bible lessons. He's
Mhm.
running out of shit to talk about. And he found a new niche. He's like, ooh, no one's railing on martial arts. Like,
yeah. You think that's
Unfortunately-
what it was? And it wasn't like, oh man, there's all these kids in like youth martial arts and they're not coming to Bible study.
Nah.
His church doesn't have church karate.
They would
No,
just
not church karate, but Bible study.
No, I know. I'm saying because they don't have that program, he now has to get them out of what they're doing, like you're saying.
I
Oh.
don't
back
think it's
into Bible
that.
study.
I bet that guy doesn't have a lot of kids in his church.
I imagine he's just
Yeah.
insane.
He sounds insane. Why is every one of these fucking guys the same? Their wife is always some hussy looking lady that is like the opposite of what you would think a pastor's wife should look like. You know what I'm saying? It's like a ton of too much makeup,
Yeah.
so much.
It's just way over
It's
the
just
top.
gaudy, like
Yeah.
adornment and jewelry, and just she just looks soft and puffy and comfy.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean,
There's 8
they probably
things-
are. All those tides, man. Like,
yeah,
8
Ten-
different dishes she can make, and all 8 are different casseroles.
yeah. Paula Dean. I didn't know Paula Dean was an evangelist wife now, but apparently,
I mean,
she is.
it's the high priest's wife, right? So
yeah,
you know,
the
she
Butterhog Princess.
yeah,
To me,
she gets to.
Every person that makes videos like that and preaches like that kind of shit, that to me is the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah, I
They need
agree.
to get the fuck out of here.
I agree. Take a hike, and your martial arts knowledge is from the '70s, dog. Like, at least get current.
Yeah.
Update yourself. Like rail on Craig Jones or something. You know what I'm saying?
Call somebody out.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, man?
Speak-
Talking about chi. Nobody takes that shit seriously.
Dude, speaking of Craig Jones, I sent this to you guys earlier today. This from Fox News.
Oh, yeah.
Of all places.
Sensational headlines here.
This, to put a little bit of context in it, so CJI is over, but we all were waiting with bated breath on every single one of Craig Jones's posts on his Instagram or otherwise.
Yeah.
This has got to be my most recent favorite obvious rage bait title from someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about to any degree. So keep this in mind. When we're talking about CJI and the marketing that Craig Jones was doing leading up to this, especially with Gabby, it was a big thing that they joked about that it'd be an intersex fight because Gabby is a giant compared to Craig and is very accomplished in her own right and all that stuff. And then there was the funny video of him kissing her by surprise, and she's been evolving to go with the bit this whole time. So check this headline out.
Let's check it.
Male jiu-jitsu star chokes out female opponent he controversially kissed in first ever mixed sexes fight.
Yeah. I'll tell you the dead giveaway. Jiu-jitsu is spelled like AI made it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's
It's all one word.
nobody writes it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chokes out female opponent. Okay. Jones said male jiu-jitsu study did it again. Oh God. They used the worst picture of Gabby Garcia.
Yeah, they
they
did.
could find. Look at this.
In the leotard.
He choked her out, and this is what's sad. It took Jones 2 rounds to get her. A second round submission. Like the way the article just makes it sound like he had to really work for it or something.
Yeah,
They
it was
show
really
this
hard.
menacing picture of Gabby. She's all trapped out. God damn. I wish I had her shoulders.
Right?
She gave him a good bout. She survived the first round. They play wrestled for a round and a half. That is, it was almost going to be This is like, come on.
This fight was feared to have been canceled at one point after a Thursday promo saw Jones grab Garcia's face and kiss her in front of cameras, which set off the Brazilian.
So this right here is an example of how every news article works that you read on the internet.
This is a great
They're
example.
all like this. Anytime you actually know what really happened and then you read it in the news, it's always some contrived bullshit material that totally misses the point and has been massaged to get some other point out. This is super clickbait.
So
I mean, it's all about like getting emotions going, right? And
Yeah.
making you feel a certain way.
So I don't know Scott Thompson, the author, but I assume what happened is that made some kind of an uproar that one of his editors said, hey, figure out what you can on this. He put it in ChatGPT and wrote it up.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
What happened to the news going to sources? How come nobody interviewed Craig?
Oh, that's journalism. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah. We don't have time for that. It's all like
Just sensationalism.
recanned shit.
Yeah.
They're just like repurposing content over
Of
and
course,
over.
all these major companies, these media companies are hemorrhaging money. They have to do anything they can. But
Then they wonder why like trust in media is like the lowest it's ever been. What are we doing wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake Paul recently said he could beat Alex Pereira.
Yeah, sure.
Just going to go ahead and skip that.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
He gets fucking kicked in his face.
Francis Ngannou, I'm just going through some updates for the little MMA stuff around us. Francis Ngannou has kind of briefly talked about his retirement after he goes into PGL or PFL, excuse me.
Yeah.
And Glover Teixeira, after talking with Alex Pereira, is pondering a UFC return, apparently.
Oh, my
Dude.
God. Glover's like 57 years old.
I know.
Hang him up, man. Hang up the gloves.
Not worth the brain
Get out
damage.
on a high note. I don't
Yeah.
want to see Teixeira like
Get murdered
get
in the ring.
fucked up.
I know.
And then just be off like what's his name?
Muhammad Ali.
No.
You're an idiot.
Well, no, I mean, it was sad to watch Muhammad Ali
Oh.
in his later life.
That's true.
UFC fighter. You trained with Eddie a lot.
Tony Ferguson.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fergs.
I love watching Tony
Fergalicious.
Ferguson, and now it's like, fuck, dude, you're still, don't do it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see you go out like that, man.
Yeah, didn't we have a show a couple weeks ago where we found out how many more? He's got like 13 more contracted fights or something.
Some
Something
crazy number. Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
mean, God bless him. I hope the best for him.
Yeah,
'Cause
me
he's
too.
Great to watch, but man, worried about him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're good here, man. Thank you
Alrighty.
guys. Good stuff. Oh, hey, before we go, I want to run a actually what we'll do is we'll run our sponsor commercial on the way out.
Okay.
At the end I'll run it. So
Sweet. So let's have people check out the Patreon.
yeah, patreon.com/InsideBJJ. Check out Inside BJJ. Check out Mindworm. Check it all out. Buy salt. Discount code Inside BJJ 15. Save 15% on checkout. Do all that stuff. Keep training. Quit bitching.
Cut your nails.
You can play the music or?
I thought you wanted a commercial.
Oh yeah.
I was listening to what you said. Sorry.
Jesus. This is the problem.
Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in Salt Electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.